We should be live now. I'm trying to follow it from here again. Oh my God. Definitely. Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yes. Let me. Oh, we should be live now. Really? Let me send the link. Or you have the links, right? Yeah. So this no that the link I'm giving now is like if you share this one, it goes to it's a YouTube link. No, for you, you are already on, so you are good. But like if somebody wants to follow us from yeah. All right. So I will be going through I'll just do a short presentation about 6 slides and then I'll invite you guys in one after the other. I think Ignes Jocelyn comes and then Brother James and then Ignes Jocelyn will be next. After those three presentations, then to be open if we have anybody online who has questions, or we can have our own short discussion and then we wrap up that way. So we want to start by acknowledging our veterans today. Memorial Day. So what you want to I think I'm getting there's a sound, there's some feedback I'm getting. I'm trying to okay. All right. So for Memorial Day, we just want to acknowledge our men and women in uniform. These are those who sacrifice themselves for us and keeping us alive. We just want to appreciate all of them for their bravery. And so we just have a minute of silence for them. These men went and never came back. We just had flags brought back to their families. And so we want to appreciate all their families and the sacrifices that we do. So remember them and want to honor them this way, this morning, today, as we do this discussion. Okay. Awesome. So welcome everybody to today's webinar. We will be discussing money skills for teens and young adults. We are actually looking into being a savvy money master. So I'll show a brief video for us to watch the vision behind all of this for young adults and teenagers getting control of money. Um, we work so much, we work so hard for money, we do most things for money, but it's something we don't like talking about. So this discussion is having young people come together and just discuss this elephant in the room called money. Personally, growing up, we never talked about money. You only hear about money when you have to go buy something or you have to pay your school fees or something. But today we want to talk about it, how to make it, and then discuss how to keep it growing, and all of those things, right? So let's take right into the discussion. I'll show a quick video, and then I'll do a short presentation. After the presentation, we'll have some entrepreneurs, our own ones amongst us young adults, just like ourselves, who have made it or making it or in the process of doing it, so that we don't have any excuses. We learn from them, and you have any questions, you put it in the chat. The chat should be in the top chat section so we can pick it up that way. All right, so let me get started with, we have our guests on at the right time. I'm going to introduce all of them. Um, let's see. We have our okay. So let me just go straight to. Let's watch this video whilst we prepare for the slides.
Welcome to this special segment where we're diving into a campaign that's about more than just a book, it's a movement. With us is the visionary behind Money Skills for Teens and Young Adults, a fast track to financial savvy, Freddie Iwajisi. Freddie, it is great to have you here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be part of this crucial conversation.
Freddie, this book and the broader campaign, Savvy Money Masters, aims to equip a generation with the skills to master their finances. What sparked this mission?
Thank you. So, growing up, conversations about money were often limited to expenses or the lack thereof. It struck me that while we are keen on academic and professional success, there is a gap in our financial education. So, especially for the younger generation. So, Savvy Money Masters is about bridging this gap.
Wow, that is incredible. During our pre-interview, you mentioned the Bible verse Matthew 6:24. How does that frame your approach to this campaign?
So the verse speaks volumes. It tells us about the conflicting nature of serving God and money. My takeaway is simple. We serve God, and in doing so, we must learn to manage money in a way that it serves us and not the other way around. Okay, so the book's aim is to tame the wild horse of money, equipping the youth to ride it and allowing them to focus on their true service to God.
Taming the wild horse of money. That's a powerful analogy. What can readers expect to learn from Money Skills for Teens and Young Adults?
Yeah, so they'll discover foundational principles of earning, saving, investing, and spending wisely. Yes, and it's about making financial informed decisions that pave the way for a future where money is a tool and not a master.
And this book is not just a book for teens, right?
Yes, definitely. It's absolutely not. It's for everyone aspiring to gain financial control, to gain control of their finances actually, and then to move from merely surviving to thriving. And parents, educators, and young adults will find invaluable lessons within its pages.
That is amazing. Before we wrap up, how can viewers join this campaign for financial savvy?
Yeah, so first of all, I think the first step is to get the book, and this book can be found on Amazon. You can find it also in Barnes and Nobles, and on our website, savvymoneymasters.com, or on any online bookstore. It's more than a read, it is an invitation to join a community of savvy money masters, a fast track to financial savvy for this generation and the next.
Freddie Iwajisi, thank you for sharing your vision with us and for initiating such a transformative campaign.
Thank you, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Awesome. It's great. Awesome. So that's that for something about the book that we wrote, and then Savvy Money Masters. Today we're bringing to you what we are saying, unlocking your financial future. Okay, unlocking your financial future. We're going to go through that quickly. It's just going to be introductory today. Talking about investing, what money is, investing, saving, and planning for the future quickly. And then our guests, wonderful, wonderful guests on here. I've known all of them for several years now, and their stories have been truly inspiring. So they're preparing to bring us wonderful things. These are very young people doing amazing things across this country and the world. So let's dig into our slides today. As you can tell, I'm still trying to get used to this platform. 1 second. Let's see. Let's do this. Okay. No. Oh my goodness. All right. Can you still hear me? Hope everyone hears me. Okay. So, and we see the slide now. I think it should be up on our screens now. Unlock your financial future. Oh no, I think you should. Let's. Hmm. Interesting. Okay, you see, I see. Augustine says he sees it. Okay. For our host, I put them on. Okay, awesome. Okay, Augustine sees it. All right, so we're going to get started. Like I said, I'll just go through real quick, and then we have our guests um, on here who also be sharing stuff with us. So unlock your financial future. Unlock your financial future. This money skills for the next generation. So let's go dig deep into it. A bit about myself. So personally, a father with three wonderful children, a beautiful wife, Priscilla, um, and a servant of the Lord, and also a child of God. I love prayer. I think that's one of the biggest things for me is prayer. But and even though we love praying, we realize that one thing I want to share on this one is that I realized that people that God really used mostly and spoke with, were not poor men, right? Abraham was a wealthy man. Talk about even Esther, who stood in for her people. She was a queen. Think about Jacob. He was wealthy. There's a parable Jesus spoke about Lazarus and the rich man, and he was also the rich man. Abraham had a bosom in heaven, right? So having money isn't bad. The key thing in knowing about money is having control over money, making money a servant. So let's go back to myself. Academic wise, I have a bachelor's in physics and computer science from University of Ghana. I did my master's in Wake Forest University in North Carolina, Winston-Salem. Currently also pursuing a PhD in computer science. Again, I think I'm beginning to love computer science a lot. Professionally, so what I do for work, I'm a solutions architect, business intelligence. All that means is helping businesses make use of their data to make decisions, right? So let's say Wells Fargo wants to put an ATM in Omaha, Nebraska. We need to look at the data to see, do you have enough people living in that neighborhood to make that decision? Things like that. Yeah. All right. Um, and now I've taken interest in money, teaching about money and the youth, young adults. You see my kids, I'm trying to do Kids Bible Study TV and all of them, trying to pass on these giftings to them. So that's what I do on the side. I just love teaching too. But that's a little bit about myself. So let's go into today's business. So I want to welcome most of these slides I did was based on the book Money Skills for Teens and Young Adults. So in chapter 1, an introduction, this particular slide comes from there. I'm just going to go through, like I've said, for us to gain some insights. So the aim of this is to lay the groundwork for the role of money and understanding the fundamental principles of financial literacy. Okay, so by the end of this section, you will have a clear view of financial landscape challenges that teens and young adults face today. I want to ask us, what do you think of money? Is it good or bad? When you hear money, is it a good thing? Is money good or bad? What do we think? You can put it in the chats if you think money is good. Is money a good thing? Is money good or bad? What do we think? That's the mindset. Just want to see our mindset of money. If you do not like money, it's not going to come knocking at your door. Okay, that's something we need to know. Money will not just come knocking. Hey, Freddie, I want to say hi. No, you need to like it. It's like a pet. Okay, so let's ask ourselves. Okay, Augustine says it's good. So let's see. Hopefully, it's good. So think about that as we go. I'll be asking some of these few questions along the way. So you ask yourself whether you think money is good or bad? This Japanese proverb says that money grows on the tree of persistence. So do you think someone like Elon Musk just woke up and had billions of dollars, all around him? Bill Gates, even Simon Biles, this gymnast. Think of Usain Bolt. All of these people, money doesn't just come. Usain Bolt practices several years to run for just 9 seconds. And now he's just signing deals here and there. He wants to run with one footballer and everybody is interested in it. And that's going to pull so much money, right? So the activities that bring money, if you don't like it, it's not going to come to you. Okay. So earning and managing. Okay. Well, someone says that money is good and bad depending on the person's mindset and using it. I think that's also another great point. That's a great point. Ohima Akweda says that it's good and bad depending on the person's mindset. Yes. So if you want to use money for a bad thing, then it's bad. If you have a good insight for it, then it's good. And generally, you should have a good mindset about money. You see, where we sleep is money. Without money, you can't have a place to put your head. You wake up, you go to brush your teeth. Somebody had to put the paste together. It's money. You had to buy it. You went to go for grocery to buy it. It's money, right? You dress up, and Monday to Friday, most of us are going to work. You clock in. It's money. You buy a vehicle with money. You fill it with gas with money, and then go to work to make more money to come home to your family. It's money. We are in school. If you're a teenager and you are in school, mommy and daddy are paying for the fees. And then in the end, you're going to start working to also try and make money. So realize that all our life is sort of around money, but that's one of the least things we talk about, right? Okay. So I'll touch quickly on this one, earning and managing money, unlocking your earning potential. Unlocking your earning potential. So this is how teens and young adults can intelligently manage and boost their earnings through traditional and non-traditional means in today's digital world. So the first point we have here is what? The importance of having multiple streams of income for financial stability and flexibility. Money is good. Um, you know, if somebody is sad and is sitting in a Mercedes Benz and you are sad and you're still on a bicycle, I mean, there's a big difference. Where will you want to be crying? In a Benz or on a bicycle? So let's think about that. Now, the importance of having multiple streams of income. What this means is that your income is not just one source. One source income means that you are getting money just from one one stream. So for instance, like most of us, we are working, maybe you work a 9 to 5 job. Let's say you're working at McDonald's, right? I'm in college, so I want some side money, so I'm working at McDonald's. That is the only means of making money. If I'm young and maybe mommy and daddy are giving me money, so money comes from mommy and daddy, and then I also work at McDonald's, right? So this person has two streams of income. You have a colleague who doesn't work, and all his stream of income comes from mommy or daddy, the parents. That's it, right? So that's having multiple streams of income. Your income is not just one source. Okay, so it's important that you increase the streams of income. Money should not come from just one source. For young adults, you are working, that is the only means. So the day you lose your job or you are sick, you cannot go to work, there is no money, right? And that's it. You are locked. If you are married, maybe your wife is bringing, your husband is bringing, so two streams. But let's say you are a stay-home mom or dad and one spouse is working and that spouse loses the job, we are locked, right? That's the danger. We should be thinking of these things. So it's good to have multiple streams. Okay, man, how do we get these multiple streams? How do we set them up to come? It will not just happen. So like I'm saying, I'm a software engineer. I do software. That's kind of what I do. I could also start training people in software engineering. So that would be something I do on the side to train people to bring in income. So I go to work at Sandia National Labs. I'm paid every month. That is good. And I'm also training people. Maybe I can also have a coaching thing I'm doing because I like soccer. Soccer is good. I can start creating a coaching team in my neighborhood and I'm training kids to coach, help them in soccer. Parents will be paying money for that, right? Using your skill to generate another income. So earning income through part-time jobs, entrepreneurial ventures. So our guests that we have today are going to show us how they took off. Online freelancing. You are good in developing. Maybe you're a good counselor, a good counselor. You should have a YouTube channel and just start counseling sessions. Do a training on it, get certified, and start counseling people on your free time. Maybe on weekends, you record a video and counsel people. That's another way to have multiple streams. You're not only relying on the one stream of income. Okay. People are good with Photoshop, designing things. There are apps like Upwork, Fiverr, that you can go on there, create an account, and because you are good in artistic things, you can just start getting jobs on the side, designing flyers and editing videos for people. Some of them is just copy and pasting stuff. People can give you their Word document to clean up for them. You make money through that. Okay, so it's good to have multiple streams of income. I'll ask a question. What do we know what this means? Paycheck to paycheck. What does it mean? Anybody knows what paycheck to paycheck means? What is paycheck to paycheck? Anyone online knows what paycheck to paycheck is? I'll go through the next two. So the third point, developing an entrepreneurial mindset. Right? You want to own something for yourself. The businesses we rise up every morning to go to is owned by someone. When you drive through the mall, the shops are owned by people. We go in to buy. Why can't I also have something that people come to? What service can I provide that people pay? Money is given in exchange for service. If you're not providing any service, there's no money exchanged. Right? You go to McDonald's to buy a burger, you pay for it. Money is, you want to buy gas, you exchange. Somebody sets up a station to sell gas, you go and pay for it. Even pen, somebody sells a pen, you buy it because you need a pen. Everything is money comes through the exchange for service. So let's start brainstorming as young people. What can I be doing to exchange that money comes to me? That's how money comes. Money just doesn't flow. Elon Musk is making Tesla. So you want to buy a flashy car, you go, you get it. Bill Gates is doing software. MacBooks designed by Apple, iPhones, the latest is out. And they add a little thing to it. You go to get it and they make money, right? So think of a service that you can exchange to bring money into our lives. Okay, Augustine says that without income, you can't pay for expenses, right? So that's what he's talking about, paycheck to paycheck. So thank you, Augustine. So that's one thing I'll touch on briefly for us to understand that. That's something we want to try and get out of. Okay. Be living paycheck to paycheck. So developing an entrepreneurial mindset. I want to own a business too. It's tough to start, but you have to do it. It's challenging. You might not get anybody to support you at all. You have to do it still. Give it a shot. If you haven't tried it, you will never know. Okay, you never know. You give yourself excuses. Understanding different types of income. So active income and then passive income. Active income requires what? Effort. Active income is you getting up in the morning and showing up at work, doing the stuff. You're a nurse, you rise up, you go in there, give the injections, medications, help patients. You have to be there. Okay. Passive income is that you set it up such that you don't really have to be there, but it's working. An online store. Do you think Jeff Bezos is there monitoring every item that is listed? I worked briefly for Amazon for about some few months, and we call those items ASINs. They are giving ASIN numbers, and he's asleep or he might be on a vacation, and I will have to. And every week there is a worldwide report I need to get ready, and it's due every 2 weeks, and you can see me that I can't even sleep, but he's asleep. It's working. The money is working for him. So he doesn't have to be there. The biggest effort is that he puts all his effort into it to set it up, and that's it. He doesn't have to be there monitoring it. You have an online store. You don't go up and be checking them up. All you do is check into your account to see, oh, what has been purchased? Oh, this is bought. Oh, wow. People are really following. Or you have a YouTube channel. Or how many subscribers do I have? Thinking of what to do. You put up a video and go to bed. The viral videos we watch, they are not monitoring it every day. They just drop it there and then that's it. That's a passive thing. So let's think of what passive means. What can I be doing passively to let money come in? That increases the multiple streams, right? So you have your main income and you have other streams of income. So that's passive and active income. And then we have the next one is what? Developing financial skills like budgeting, investing, networking. Okay, so you need to develop financial skills like budgeting. Budgeting is keeping your money, knowing what you deciding what you want money to do. Don't let money dictate to you. So you have your money, you draw your plan. This is what I'm going to use money for. No impulse buying. Money is a wild horse. If you don't tame it, it will mess you up. Okay, if you should watch somebody, you go to a ranch and try looking at a wild horse. They beat it, try to bring it under control. Then you can enjoy the ride. You can even close your eyes and enjoy it. Otherwise, money takes control. So Dave Ramsey says if you don't take control of money, lack of it will take control of you. Okay, investing and then networking. You should learn how to invest. Even before you start investing, you should learn how to also save. Okay, learn saving and then investing. These are things we hear. Let's spend time looking into it. So paycheck to paycheck, you can't pay for expenses. Income, okay, you can't pay for expenses. That's a paycheck. And then we also have Ohima Akweda says that paycheck to paycheck is pretty much spending all your income you have on the monthly expenses. Sometimes the paycheck to paycheck is not even enough. Okay. So paycheck to paycheck means that, like you've all said, thank you so much. You have one stream of income. First of all, it's just one stream. And then you spend today and you're waiting for the next one. So those living paycheck to paycheck devote their entire salaries predominantly to expenses, like they've said. Then the phrase also means that living with limited or no savings and refer to people who are at a greater financial risk. If they suddenly become unemployed, they do not have any emergency funds. That is paycheck to paycheck, right? So you have only one income. You put all your money today. Once the money comes in, you are paying for your bills, you are paying for your vehicle. If you have that, you are doing hospital expenses, credit card debt, and it's done. And then you have nothing left until the next pay comes, right? So that's dangerous. And we don't want to be there. So I want you to start thinking. All of us might be there. I've been there. If you are there now, do not beat yourself to it. Today's is just bringing your mind to it that I want to get out of this. You need to take an action. Worrying does not solve the problem. You can worry all day, all night, and nothing is going to change. Okay, we need to take a step. So paycheck to paycheck is something you don't want to be in. I want to share this with us. Your network is your net worth. Your network, the people you surround yourself with, that determines how much financially you have, right? Because those who are wealthy are not associated with the poor mostly. It's only with those in that wealth. If you have a financial mindset, you are financial savvy, the people you chat with are also at that level. So let's start creating networks and building ourselves up in that regard. People might will cause you to be pushed to do things. If you are with friends who like to sleep, you end up sleeping. So let's watch that. You're working hard for money without knowing. I want you to be alert now. We want to all be alert that what I'm doing all day, all night is all about money. So I should watch my friends well, pick good friends, who are going to help me get to this goal. So financial network. Today I've called three of our great friends to share with us. It's because I've associated with them and they are doing great things. Just watching them from afar, I am pushed to do something. They have kids like I have kids. How are they able to do it? They'll share with us today. Okay. So paycheck to paycheck is something that you want to get out of and increase your network. Deliberately start working towards having people in your network. Okay, let's speed it up. Saving and investing, I spoke about it. It says that predicting rain doesn't count. Building arcs does. This is a quote from Warren Buffett. He was the richest man for a long time, and his is just into stocks. And he says that you should be able to build the arc. Don't just predict that, we're going to have a financial turmoil very soon. What are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? Okay. So let's know the difference between saving and investing, and then establishing priorities, financial priorities, establish utilizing banking technologies for saving, okay, and then investing strategies for financial growth. Now, the key thing about savings and investing is the savings is a safety net. Like we said, you want to get out of paycheck to paycheck. So you could even be on one stream of income, but you have a savings that helps you survive between the first paycheck and the next paycheck. You don't spend everything. If you don't want to spend everything, it means that I should cut my expenses. There are things we do not need. Many shoes we have, we don't use them. So let's not be buying a shoe. Oh, I have this shoe. I don't really know the bag it will match with, but I think I have a bag it might match with. And then you buy it and you never wear that dress. Right. So let's watch it. Now, savings is saving money for emergencies. Investing is letting the money grow. So two different things. If I pick my salary, maybe I'm making a $10,000 a month. The 10,000 comes in and I save 2,000. That money is not going anywhere, just sitting down, just in case it's an emergency. But then if I pick I took another 2,000 and buy Amazon stocks. That one I want it to grow. That's the money I don't need today. I want that money to grow. So that one is going to grow at a percentage. It's different from the savings. Right? So don't count your savings as your investment or investment as savings. Those are two different things. Okay. I'm starting with savings as a priority. So you start to save first. Don't start investing when you don't have anything down. The savings is what you can go to when you have an emergency. You go to it quickly and then you can use it. Emergency comes up, you have that money saved. It's advised that you have up to 6 months of savings. But don't beat yourself. $1,000 starting is even a good goal to start with. I want to have $1,000 just in case of any emergency. I have $1,000. I don't have to go knocking on anybody's door. So let's work on that. That can start with $50 a month, gradually to hit 1,000. You hit 1,000, you can increase now to have 3,000. Okay, and you start saving that way. So you can do your savings through automation. When the salary comes in, you add your savings accounts. Maybe 1,000 goes into this account. You don't touch it. You don't go there. Don't even log in to check what is there. You only go there when you've realized there is no money, and then you go touch it, right? So let's know the difference between saving and investing. Start early with saving, then automating it as is the key to building a stable and successful financial future. So every one of us, please, let's start saving. If you've not been saving, if you use all your money, it's dangerous. Let's save. Okay. Let's save. All right. Now let's look at wise spending and credit management. So crafting a wise and spending blueprint is essential for maintaining financial health and ensuring long-term stability. You should know what you need and what you want. What you want can come later. What you need is important. Basic needs, meet those first, and then forget about the things that you want. I'll touch on this. If something comes up, or you realize that someone is selling a deal, we end up doing impulse buying. One technique that I think I'm adopting is sleep over it. Somebody tells you something nice, advertising something so beautiful, just sleep over it. I was showing my wife yesterday. It's a new thing I'm going to start doing. I'll sleep over it. And that adrenaline and the zeal to buy it even vanishes. By the morning, you wake up, I don't think I really need it. Something will just let you know that you don't need it. So sleep over it. So know the difference between your needs and your wants. Pitfalls of impulse spending. That's what I was saying, that sleep over it. Okay, impulse buying leads to financial stress. Strategies for mindful spending. Start budgeting. Track your expenses. Log into your credit card statements, the debit card statement. Now the banking apps have a ways of tracking what you are spending. Let's keep an eye on it. Okay, navigate debts and credit scores, debits and credit scores. All right, your credit cards is not a secondary income. You go to Capital One gives you a card, and then you see it as, okay, I'm earning 10,000 and Capital One has 10,000 on it, so I have 20,000. No, you don't have 20,000. The credit card is just your credit worthiness to see if you are good at paying what you borrow. That's all it is, right? So use the credit card when you can pay it off. So I'm going to, let's say, Walmart to buy something. What I do is that, okay, I can use my credit card to pay for the grocery. I have the money on my debit card. When I come home, I pay it off. so you don't fall in the trap of thinking you have 20,000. You still have 10,000. The more you pay your credit card off and you are keeping a good score, when you're ready to buy your house, they know you are trustworthy. You're ready to buy your car, you're trustworthy. So let's know that. So know the difference and navigate the two well. We go into depth of all of these later, but these are concepts I want us to spend time in our daily lives thinking about it. It doesn't just happen. We need to go deep into it. All right, planning for the future. Okay, I'll ask one more question. What is your number? What is your number? What is your number? Now, this, when someone asking what is your number, it is, what I mean by this is that what amount of money can I give to you today that you will not have to go to work again? Have you ever thought of it? That if I had maybe every month, now think of it as something that is continuous, not one big lump sum, because it's going to go away. That's what people are trading into lottery and then they lose money. So think of it this way: that if what amount of money should come into my account daily or weekly or monthly that I don't have to think of getting up to go to work. That is your number. Have you ever thought of it? So think about it. If you want to share your number, that is fine. Maybe say, if I had 20,000 every month, I don't think I have to go to work ever again. Now, this thing is going to start putting in you how to now make it happen. How do I make 20,000 come into my account every month? Currently, I have just one stream of income. I need to increase those streams. What else can I do? What am I skillful at? What am I good at? Let's put all to work and try and hit that 20,000 a month. Once I hit 20,000 a month, I know I don't have to get up and go to whatever work I'm doing. Or I'm not pushed to do it anymore. I don't have to, it's not a must. It's like now I do it because I feel like doing it. Okay. So that is a number you don't think about that leads to your retirement. How long do you want to be working for? Now, retirement doesn't mean you're not working anymore. Okay. Our current president is almost 80 years. He's not retired. Right. But then I believe that he was trained as a lawyer. He's not a lawyer anymore. He's been able to pursue his passion into politics. Okay. Let's say you like missions. You want to travel on missions. I would love to travel on missions, travel to other countries and spread the word of God. But I need money to push that. So at what point will I want to be able to go into this full time and do what I love to do? Maybe have a channel, YouTube channel, and just teach kids or things like that. I want to pursue what I really love. Some of us are working not because we love it, but because we have to. But now, retirement comes in at what time, at what age do I want to retire? You set that date and you start working it backwards. So that if I said I want to retire at 50 years, how many years do I have now? Maybe you have 20 years to hit 50. What do I do between now and 50 to retire? It will change the way you work. You'll not be wasting time anymore in life, dragging your feet. You have just 20 years to stop working, so you'll be busy. Okay, let's not wait when we are 40, 50, 60 before you start thinking of retirement. We start now. So start early, and compound interest will be of benefit to us. So let's start thinking of retirement now. Think about your number. What is your number? Think about it. Okay, so start now. Investing or retiring planning, investing time is of the greatest essence. Okay, retirement planning isn't just about saving, it's about crafting a master plan for your golden years. You today, when the alarm rings, yeah, you can snooze it one, two, and you rise up. The time is going to come, you will not even hear the alarm ring anymore. You'll be too old. You can't work forever. So now that we are strong, this is the time. I remember in the COVID time, I was doing like 2, 3 jobs. I can't do it when I'm 50 years. I had 2 different IT jobs. I'll have on this meeting, I hop on this meeting. The energy was there. Now, as you grow, you cannot do it. This is the time. So set the time for retirement and start working towards it. Plan for a stress-free retirement. Healthcare is even expensive when we are older. So let's think about that. Realize dreams. So now that I'm retired, I can go into what I really want to do. Maybe I like art, I like drawing, I like visiting. I'll be able to do it. It's like freeing yourself. So when do you want to be free? It's in your hands. Freedom is in our hands. Financial security. Build a cushion for life uncertainties. If I'm to pass away, am I going to be a stress on the family? So life insurance comes in so that when you pass away, the funeral arrangement is not going to be a stress, right? They just pick you, prepare, and it's done and it's paid off. Nobody has to struggle about that. So you prepare yourself not to become a liability on the family. These are things we have to think and talk about. So let's plan. Let's plan. Abraham planned himself so much that even the concubine's children, Keturah, he sought them out and moved them far away from Isaac. Planned himself so there'll be no struggle after he's dead. So let's plan. The early bird catches a financial freedom and a peace of mind. Start planning retirement when? Now. When are we starting our financial planning? Now. Do not start tomorrow. Start now. Think about it. Fix a date. I have a date I put in my mind that when my last child retired is graduating and I'm attending her graduation, I should go as a retired man. When she graduates, I should be done. So now I've set my clock ticking. Between now and her graduation, I should be done. So she is thinking of graduating from college. I'm also chasing myself to graduate from what? To retire. Not that I'm not going to work anymore, but I don't have to think of getting to do clocking in and clocking out anymore. Okay. So I hope that these things have brought, all I was doing is just bringing your mindset to things we don't think about: investments, savings, paycheck to paycheck, having a good network, not just friends. It's good to have friends you can call on when you are in trouble, but there are friends who will push you to do more. There are friends who will push you to do more financially, put you on the right place. Bill Gates, Elon Musk, all these people have people who push them, right? So let's start building network. Be deliberate about it. Okay. All right. I think I've touched on all that. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. We'll be switching now to our guest speakers panel. This first guest speaker we have is Jocelyn Lai. I've known her for a very, very long time. Very, very long time. Um, I call her my neighbor. We used to live in the same city and fellowship together, and I've seen her do marvelous things. She is a nurse. These are her credentials: MSN, APRN. She will explain to us honestly. FNPC. I have no idea. She has Adepa scraps, Adepa prints, Adepa babies. She's a mother and a wife to a great man of God, Ni Lai, a great family. So I'll be handing over to her. She's going to talk about her side passions. She's going to talk about her professional life. Going to talk about family commitments and what role money is playing in her life. She's a very young lady, as you can see. She's a very young lady, but she's been able to do all of these things. So all the things I've talked about, she's one of the people who is championing that cause. We have two more guests. I'll give her the next 10 to 15 minutes and she'll talk to us. So welcome, Dickness Jocelyn, as she takes us through.
You all can hear me. Oh,
Yes,
you can hear me, right?
yes, we can. Let me.
Okay, very wonderful. I think Elder has touched on a lot today. I learned from what he was saying. It's good. We never stop learning. If we are not learning, we are dying. So I always make it opportunity to learn something a day. So, professionally, I'm a nurse practitioner. I'm currently in school, pursuing my doctorate. And I have 5 children. I own a few side hustles because you cannot only depend on your 9 to 5 job, as he rightly said. Um, so, like for me personally, I every week there's a certain money that should hit my account, and I am not really locked into the money that I get every 2 weeks from my main job. I do different things, and I am glad that Elder shared one which talks about your skill. So going through nursing school, In the beginning, I struggled a little bit with critical thinking, trying to sit for the exam. But God being so wise, that was a process that God was processing me for. I learned the skill to be able to write the NCLEX board exam. And now, by God's grace, I'm able to teach nurses who are struggling to take the exam as part of my side hustle. So that is, I do it virtually. It doesn't matter where you are. I have students in Ghana, I have student here, and I get a lot of referral. And I'm glad that he also touched on your network is your net worth. So a lot of the people that watch my WhatsApp stat, I use WhatsApp to generate money. I don't just come and post to for the fun of it. I always post my business. I always talk about my business because I am my business. One time I got the opportunity to sit with the Shade Room. I went to a conference and they brought the lady that have the biggest platform on Instagram, and that is the Shade Room. And one thing that I took from that lady is you are your business. So wherever that I go, even if I'm at a wedding, after a conversation with a sister and you're a nurse, you're gonna buy my scrub. We're gonna have a scrub conversation. So we really need to create something that is our passion. So anytime I have a conversation with somebody, my goal is to be able for you to create something, do something with your hands, even if it's not your skill. There are so many businesses in China that you can transport here and triple the price and make profit. You just, if you might say, oh, well, I'm not educated enough, I don't have this enough. But I know people who have not been to school and are making it and are making it big time. All because they have understand finances, they have understand the game. So today I really want to encourage you in a way that yes, we go to school. We need education to manage the skills that we have. So, for example, as a nurse practitioner, I'm teaching people to become to pass the nursing board exam, which is the NCLEX, and I can do it like for CNA. From if a CNA wants to sit for the LVN exam, I'm able to strategically teach them so that they don't have to go to LVN school. So I saved them 40,000 right there. Now, think about it. If I'm to stop working right now and I'm making that a full-time job, I'm gonna make so much money. And that's something that I'm working on because I'm saving you the stress of going to sit in the class and going to school and then teaching you literally everything that you need to know in a two months time frame. If I'm pricing you $20,000, you should be able to give me that money. Why? Because I'm saving you that was stress of going back in clinicals here and now. The same applies to an RN who have sat home 12 years of not passing the board exam. I can sit you down, teach you in a language that you can understand and pass. So when elders spoke about using your skill and your passion to make money, it is really true that every week I guarantee that I teach students as part of my side hustle that I can say, okay, this $500 is gonna hit the account, and I can use it for this that I want to do. So we can I cannot depend on my 9 to 5 job, like he rightly said. We need multiple streams of income. Now, a second thing that I do is I sew uniform. You know, one time God dropped the idea of scrub business in my head, and then I started researching. I started looking at, I wear scrub. And I'm like, okay, what is it that I want to wear? How do I want to feel if I wear an ideal scrub? What should the ideal scrub look like? So I started surveying nurses, asking them questions. I didn't tell them I was doing business. I just asked them, how do you want, what do you think that your ideal scrub should be like? They started giving me ideas. See this network thing, they started giving me idea. If I have the packet this way, I started jotting them down. And God be so good, God connected me to somebody in China I've never met, but I've done good business with that person. And then I asked for fabrics, different kinds of fabrics, because with nursing, you are bending, you are doing this, you are twisting here and there. You want to feel comfortable. So after that, I was able to create this uniform. And I bet you that every uniform design is not the same. because you want to create a market where somebody's not coming to buy the exact same thing. It becomes boring. So then you need creative ideas to be able to, okay, today I'm going to do the packet this way, I'm going to do a style this way. So I'm into a little bit of fashion to make the uniform very nice and appealing for nurses to wear, because the Gen Z nurses want to look good. The Gen Z nurses want to feel good in what they are wearing. So that's a strategy that I adapted. I look at other scrap market and see how they're able to pull in money. Okay, they are doing joggers. How can I do it very different from them? What fabric can I beat them, with that they are not doing? So you look at the market, look at what your competitor is doing, and then try to do something different. I try not to copy and do exactly what people are doing. That's why you see me, I have symbols, Ajinami symbols. And for my patient, it gives them something to talk about. Like, oh, tell me about this symbol. Where are you from? So for a non-talking patient, you give them something to talk about. And I've heard this from a lot of the nurses that buy my uniform. Now, another thing is I'm into printing. When I started the scrap business, and I find out that, oh, people were so interested in the Ajinyame designs. During COVID, I made so much money. I was able to create masks using the Edinkra symbols, because people are like, oh, I like this because it makes you unique. People want to ask. So I made so much money. That is, I tailored it to people who were having weddings, because at that time when you are having a wedding, you need to have mask on. I was able to customize it for them, like doing like so and so with this, and I was able to make it look very nice and appealing. I made great money from that, and because it was a season, remember. So the Bible talks about times and season. Always that we should ask God for advanced knowledge to be able to make good use of the seasons that we have ahead of us. So that was COVID. COVID was a mass season. Now, after the max season fade off, it throw a different light on my scrub business. People will be like, oh my gosh, if your mask is this quality, then I will buy my scrub uniforms from you. So it created a different platform for my scrub business. It kind of put it in a different pedestal. That by God's grace, I'm thriving. I'm doing well with that. And through that, I started the printing business, because literally putting a logo on that mask it's printing. It's a different form of printing. So I was able to attract churches that do a lot of merch, like children's ministry, Pentecost. They do a lot of merch, like every year. Literally, you can target Pentecost to make profit out of them. And that is, I'm not making profit, but my goal is to for them to be able to give them something quality, but yet at a good price, so that they are not buying it at an outrageous price. Because again, I'm a child of God. That's the way that I can support the church and different ministries. So that is where my printing business came in, and I print so many things. I'm talking about embroidery, inscribing your name, your credentials on your uniform, printing T-shirt from nurses, because not every nurse want to wear a scrap top. Some of them want to wear a scrap pants and a T-shirt with a bunch of things written with nurses and inspiring stuff in there. I do that. Um, and that is where I also thought about starting at the pest kits. So at the pest kits was able to utilize like, you know, names, names like, Yeshua HaMashiach, to be able to create onesies for incoming moms. For me, it was a form of revelation for me that people who are trusting God for the fruit of the womb, that was something that they could grab and use it as a tool to pray on, to believe on God for a baby. And through that, we'll be dropping our newest. My kids came up with an idea that mom, let's venture into lunch boxes for school. So that's something that we'll be dropping before the next school year start in August. We'll be selling it to all the moms. So I believe that God has given us creative minds. And our minds is not to just sit and watch, what somebody is doing and applauding them. God has equally given you that opportunity to explore. Like Instagram, for instance, anytime I go on Instagram, it's a marketing opportunity for me. I'm looking out like, how can I better my business? Because right now everything is on social media. Do I know how to click this button? Do I know how to do this reel? Because you want to get yourself out there. So don't say, oh, I don't know anybody who can help me. There are a lot of business consultant around that you really want to dive in and get something going, get something to do. If you go on Amazon, I always say that I have a lot of creative ideas that I can't do them all. But anytime I see somebody who is really into business and really want to pursue this, I'm like, have you thought of doing this? Maybe feeding bottle. If you sell it this way, if you customize it this way, somebody's gonna buy. It's gonna hit a different kind of market. Now, another thing that blows my mind is I currently don't have, not planning to have any more kids. I won't have any more kids. But anytime I have the privilege to go on Amazon and I type like feeding bottle, from the time I had my kids to now, a lot of creative ideas have come up. And I always say to myself, like, what can we also do as an African community? Like, what creative ideas can we come up with to be able to beat the market? So we can, when people search us up, we will be, the highest selling feeding bottle, the highest selling um um what is it that they use for this baby pacifier. I never used one, but people are dropping really really creative ideas of just customizing pacifier. How is it that you can pin it to your clothes as a mom that it's not going to fall on the ground? How is it that you cannot sanitize it every 5 minutes? These are all ideas that you can create, that you can come up with and generate a different passive income. So I am here to motivate you all that you can equally come up with a business idea, a business plan, yet there is no one that God has not put something in. I believe in something called the man called Bezalel. The Bible in the book of Exodus said that this one man, I've given him the spirit of wisdom, the spirit of understanding, the spirit of what? The fear of God, the spirit of all kinds of skills. So just one man that God called Bezalel, that God has given him everything in one man. I believe that anytime I read that verse, I say, Lord, I cannot do less. I can only do more. So this is something. This is a good place, an education place for you to sit down and say, "What can I do?" You might be a stay-at-home mom, but what can I do? You can come up with a clothing line so creative, and then start hitting. You don't have to sell to your friends. No, with this market that we have, the digital platform market that we have, you hit on Instagram. You just tell Instagram to focus on this specific group, Gen Z, 18, between 18 to 30 years, that wear this kind of clothes. Pay Instagram $5 and you'll be amazed how much market that you can reach in a day. So, sometimes the reason why people don't want to do the very things that God had told them to do, like business wise, is because they are like, oh, well, Africans are not going to support me. We are always limiting ourselves to our community, our friends, our church members. But the market that we have is way wider and farther. I have shipped as much as almost all the states of my uniform. I've met people like, oh my gosh, I never knew you are the one that does the scrubs. It is so of a higher quality. I don't know a lot of my customers, but I ship all the time, every part of the state. And that is because I have adapted that I've not limited myself to my church members. I've not limited myself with my friends. So if my friends are not buying from me, I get upset. No. I have a broad idea to reach the masses, and that is going on Instagram, utilizing Facebook, utilizing Instagram, utilizing TikTok, because this is where the market is. That being coming up with creative ideas, creative reels, creative business posts to be able to reach the masses. So that's something that I wanted to share with you guys, that don't limit yourself. I'm not limiting myself that, oh, I'm a nurse practitioner, I make good money, so that is it. No, I'm thinking about, elders spoke about retirement. I have a number in my head. At the age of 50, I don't want to be clocking in and clocking out for somebody. I want to be fully spending good time with my kids from now. That's something that I have purposely and intentionally work on. Spending time with these kids because they grow fast and being able to create something that it's like a generational wealth. That God forbid, in 120 years, I'm dead and gone. My daughter can just pick on the past scrap business and just run with it. Why? Because I've showed them. And that's something that I'm teaching my daughters right now. That to be business minded. That they shouldn't always say, Mommy, give me this, Mommy, give me that. I'm asking them creative ideas. What do you think kids loves that they when we put on the market, they will buy, oh mom, let's do this. Let's do that. So that's something that we really need to start doing. Now, yesterday, when I was coming from California, I had the opportunity to sit by a school. She told me she used to teach a preschool or whatever it is. And then I asked her, so I'm like, where are you coming from? She's like, oh, I'm just coming from Hawaii. We went on a family vacation. And I'm like, oh, okay. In this economy, flying all these kids to a vacation, you must have a good job to be able to do that. So I asked her, what are you doing? And she said, oh, my husband and I flip homes. Flip homes. And she was sharing with me that she makes so much money from flipping home, and through that she has other ventures. She's able to have much time to go on all the sport activity with the son. And I'm like, wow, can we also do that? Yes, we can. If only we say that enough of the 9 to 5. Because like I said, if you don't have a number that at the age of 50, I am not going to work, then you are going to continuously clock in, clock out, clock in, clock out. And guess what? God forbid, if you are sick, like Elder said, you can't work. We need to create wealth to a point that in our sleep, money will be generating for us. We wake up. So there are days that I wake up to orders. By the time I wake up, oh, can you ship me this? Can you ship me that? Can you ship me this? Can you ship me that? So in the morning, I wake up. The first thing that I'm going to is the post office. I'm going to just drop the stuff that people are ordering and use every opportunity to make money. Don't just post 110,000 thing on your WhatsApp and a day it's not generating you a dollar. I make sure that I'm generating a dollar, making money from every opportunity. Every post should bring me income. All right. I hope this helps you guys. If you have any question, you can tell that Freddie to reach out to me. All right, and thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Your Dickness, like, do not go and say, Jocelyn, don't leave. There are questions in the chat. We have one question in the chat. We'll come when it comes to the questions we'll address. We'll get all of you together and then we answer. That'll be the wrapping up. But I'm sure there's one question already in the chat that's asking how you balance all of this. So you can be thinking about that. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I've learned a lot myself from her. I just sit back and watch her. And then I'm saying I've seen her right from when we were neighbors. And now she's like on a different level altogether. Yeah. So we have to learn, like she said, let's learn from each other. Okay. And let's not stop. Let's not stop thinking. Let's not limit ourselves. Um, awesome. All right. So we'll move quickly to our next speaker so that we get time to chat a bit. This is another brother that I've come to know. He used to be in Ohio, he's now in Arizona. Brother James Israel Nyamisem Wache. Yeah. If you don't know how to, if you don't know any good seats to wear, just get in touch with him. He'll show you how to do the combination properly. Uh, I love him so much. He loves God, and he also into marketing. Let me pull him up real quick. And then who puts thickness and Mr. Jocelyn? Let me see. Okay. So he is also a family man. I think 3 kids now. He's caught up to me already, so that's good. Um and then he runs a prayer conference, Koinonia, every year. I mean, it's just amazing, gathering the young guys to pray. He's a business guy, business minded person, and it's in the military. Okay, so I'll just let Brother James come up and then also give us incentives, tell us what he does, and we hear from him directly. So, Brother James, please, over to you.
very much for this great opportunity. And I must say, this is a good time for us to really brainstorm on stuffs. Yeah. So some of the stuffs are things that we know. We're just going to run over it and make you understand that they are just at the tip of our fingers, just that we've not made use of them. One other thing that I remember when I was listening to my brother when he was speaking is that money, I believe, the discussion of money should even be the subject in school. That we should just teach
Very
money.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, purposely. We just spend time to teach money because at the end of the day, all that we are doing is money. We whatever we are doing, whatever in your hands is money. So in Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19, the Bible says, money answers all things. You can put it in whichever term that you want, but the phrase is simple. Money answers all things. For this web not to even happen, it's money. If you don't have a phone, you're not going to be here. I promise you, if you are streaming from an old phone, you and somebody that is streaming from 2024 or 2020, even 2020 phone are not going to have the same feel. Yeah, so money is important. And we need to be able to have that conversation and build ourselves up in those directions. Yeah, so in this discussion, I'm going to cover on four things that has been given onto me, and one of them is marketing and advertising. Yes, I'm in the marketing and advertising space. So everything that we do, like my sister said, if you are able to market it, you are going to profit from it. Everything you are doing, market it and get profit from it. And one of the easiest description that I give for or definition I give for marketing is that bringing a product to the doorstep of the user. This is not in any book. That's my definition. If you're able to bring the product to your user in exchange of money, you are doing a good marketing. And everybody, one way or the other, whichever way it is, we meet people all the time. And what I say is that the difference between us and the other people who are making good things is that they know when to pursue things and get it done. So before we continue, let me just give you this information. Each one of us, regardless of the job you do, can just go on Facebook or just Google Facebook Meta Blueprint, because now Facebook is Meta. So Facebook Meta Blueprint is going to teach you how to do effective marketing for people, for yourself, and to profit from it. It's a certification course. You can just study it. If you like, don't do the certification. If you're doing the certification, you're going to pay for it. But I tell you, what you are going to get out of it is not going to be the amount you paid for. One day, I was screaming the other time. I mean, I used to have that problem with my wife. And the second one, since we are putting it down, and the second one is Google Skill Sharp. Google Skill Sharp. It is free of charge. The whole course is free of charge. But if you want to be certified for it, you're going to pay some money for that. Again, it's worth the money. You're going to have that money back. When Facebook pays me and I look at my account, sometimes I laugh because that amount is something that I did not really do anything. I just posted it and made sure it went into the right algorithm. Listen, understanding the things that are close to us is more important than any other thing. I tell my wife, I don't post for fun. I don't hold phones in my hand because I'm holding phone in my hand. Yeah, so if I'm having iPhone in my hand, the iPhone should be paid for by the phone itself. Why? Because I put it to work. So by the time the phone gets out of my hand, I've covered the money and I'm profiting from it. In that same way, when I get any product, I need to benefit from that product. I'm not just going to be using it and just flaunting it or anything of that sort. Yeah, so you need to understand that marketing and advertising is important. It is said, and I keep saying this, if you have a product and you are not marketing it, It's like winking at somebody in the dark. It's a good product. But if you are not having a strategy to get it to your people, it's nothing. Your product will die with you. So imagine you having a $1 million idea and nobody knows about it. It's only you that does it. Number two, we're going to talk about how we do the prayer conference that my brother spoke about. Yeah, so we started doing that for 5 years now, and by the grace of God, this year we celebrate our 5th year anniversary. It's one of the most challenging things to do, where we try to put in every wing on board to get things going. It has never been easy. And one thing that I want us to understand is that nothing comes easy if you really want it. Put the passion to it. At some point, people will tell you, hey, it's not going to work. Listen to me. Stop listening to the naysayers and listen to your why. It's the same strategy in the military. If you forget your why, you will give up along the way. So you always have to constantly remind yourself why you started, what you are chasing, where you are going. Let me put this thing across. 12 or 15 years back was when I wrote my first book. No, it was 18 years back. I wrote my first book. That first book made its way into the market, especially in Ghana. I covered almost all the senior high schools. And the second book came. The second book was titled Young and Rich. Young and Rich. The whole idea was to create young people to adapt the mind of making money out of the little things that they had. So when that book was made, interestingly, the book got even into countries that I myself had not even stepped in. And it's all by the power of what? Recommendation and good marketing. So whatever you have, whatever gift God has given you, you have to work that gift. Brand it. Branding is important. Even the messages that we share in church, if you are branding it right, the right people will get that message. If you are not paying attention to your branding, you are going to lose big deal. So invest in your branding, have something that you stand for. And I tell you, you are going to make good things out of that. Branding is paramount in whichever field that we are. Branding is what is going to distinct you from your competitors. Hear this. You are in a field whereby there are so many competitors. So be ready. Everybody is trying to get some money out of somewhere. And we are all struggling to get that same dollar. Some will say moolah. Some will say l'argent. Whichever way you say it, your teeth is shown. Money, l'argent, moolah, cash. Whichever angle it goes, there is an element of laughter. So money in itself brings some soundness to your body and your system. Yeah. I had this man that we went to pray for. That's just by the way. We went to pray for this young man in Ghana, and I prayed and I sweated all my heart out. This man was still lying down in the bed. But when I pulled an envelope from my bag and I handed it to this man, as if heaven came down, he got out of the bed and flexed his muzzle and greeted me. The way the man greeted me, after the prayer, he did not even do that. His amen was even struggling to come. But after the envelope was released, the smile that was beaming out of this man and everything made me realize that, look, indeed, what the book of Proverbs is saying, that money answered all things, is very true. We prayed, but the money that underlined it and signed the signature on it confirmed the healing of this man. And in that same week, he was out of the hospital. Do you know why? Because that money was able to cater for his what? Hospital bill. So although the prayer was going to heal him, but he was thinking about how to get out of the hospital. Let me tell you, money is good, but we've been taught wrongly. That's why we look at money in a different way. Some will say, give unto Caesar what is due Caesar and all of that. Listen, the Bible says in Proverbs, in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 18, that I, the Lord God, I am he who giveth ye power to make wealth. So whenever there is money, understand that it is God that gives you the power to make it. Listen to me. Money is made by man. Money is printed by man, but it is God that shares it. Money is printed by man, but it is God that shares it. And it goes into the prepared packet that has the mindset of Christ to change lives and destinies. All right. And the next thing that we be looking about will be how I'm managing family commitments and all these things going on. Okay, so let me just give a brief stuff that we are doing. I'm a full-time military, and I run the Gero group of companies. Recently, we introduced the Legacy Luxury Motors, whereby we give luxury cars. When I say luxury cars, don't think that if you want the midline, you are not going to get it. I tell you, whichever money you show at my doorpost, I will get you a car to take that money out of your hand. There is no way you are going to go without a car. That's one thing that we need to learn. And I learned this thing from the Chinese. When you go to a Chinese shop and you are requesting for a product, I tell you, whichever amount of money you have, they will never let you go with that money. They will make sure they meet you with a product that meets your budget. That's why sometimes people say Chinese products are not good. No, it's not the Chinese product that are not good. It's your money that was given that was not good. The money that was given that was not good. All right. So the next thing that I will say is that I'm just going to briefly go through things. You have to, one, identify your skills and interest. I have an interest in cars. I have an interest in clothing. So I tell you, I have a clothing line which will be officially launched very soon into suits. So all the suits you see me wearing, most of them are from a clothing line, and they are top notch. Yeah, the reason why it's not in the market in the open like that is I have targeted group as of now that I meet and service with the shoes and all of that. And one, you have to research into your income streams. Always have a cash cow. The cash cow will be the main interest that you started with. Let that cash cow be funding all the other side hustles, which you may call it, that you are having, so that the stress will not be too much. If it has not grown to a cash cow, don't be quick to run into other ventures. All of them are going to break. You are just going to be many a jack of many trades, a master of none. So make sure that that skill that you started with, where you had interest in, is making you enough and will be able to sustain the next income stream that you are going to give. Yeah, I think, did you say I have 1 minute?
Yes.
How many minutes do you give me? I thought it was 15 minutes. I was
Yeah.
going about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let me just give these two things and I'll end over there. Evaluate the market demand. Whatever that you are bringing in, there is a demand for it. But you are not the only one doing it. There are so many people doing it. You may have an idea. Somebody has that idea too. But yours must be in a way that it will be distinct amongst the people that you are working with or your competitors. So all the time, let's understand that. And I love it that our sister said, don't always focus on the people around you. If I ever focused on the people around me, I would have remained poor. Why? Because we have the mindset that do it and let's see. So when you start it small, I tell you, the people around you are never going to give you full-time support. They are waiting for it to move into a bigger venture so that they can associate. They are patronizing it not because they want you to be the best in that. They are doing it because they want to associate with you. But when you spread your tentacles to the wider spectrum, which is the web, I tell you, people from different walks of life are going to come into your business and help you grow better. I'm not saying let's neglect them. No. But I'm saying don't make them your focus. If you do that, you're never going to make any good thing. Have a plan. Have a plan for all these things. So all these things are well structured. The JRO group, the legacy luxury models, the legacy man standout clothing, the Koinonia conferences, which is the city on the hill. All these are in a plan that we are working with so that none of them do not conflict with each other. Come to my family line, how I'm combining all this military thing and all these things together with the family. My wife has been a support system, and we have a structure that we all go with so that I will be there as a father. My kids will not miss me as a father and just be seeing me as that businessman running all around. So I try my possible best to plan it, balance it, and make them even enjoy what we are doing so that even in that enjoyment, we still have our family times together. So these are the ways that I try to put them in one way or the other. We are working, but we are having fun. Make working fun so that enjoying money too becomes fun and you try to appreciate all the balances and the checks. Yeah, I think I tried covering a little. So if there are some questions that will come up, we will try our possible best to also go with that. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome, awesome, Brother James. Thank you so much. I mean, it's
You
just amazing, amazing hearing him. So I just love him from afar, and God bless you so much for all
I
that
love
you
you
do.
too, sir.
Passion, the passion with which he does all this, and the excellence. One thing I like about him is the desire for excellence. You know,
All right.
and it's just amazing. So I believe, and I hope you've learned a lot. We have our next guest on, another wonderful lady, Deaconess Jocelyn, powerful, powerful woman of God. She's still going to tell us hers. And please keep your questions coming. So after she's done, we will go through a short discussion, and we will get all the questions together, and we'll wrap up very soon. And I believe we are learning a lot. I believe we are really, really learning a lot. So let's. Oh, his graphic design business. Ah
Yeah.
man,
So I tell it that under the marketing,
marketing. Yeah,
yeah, under the marketing and the business. So that's the general group. Yeah. So Auntie Lydia, thanks for bringing my mind on that.
it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot. Awesome, awesome. Let's see. Let me bring Deaconess Jocelyn in, and then so once if we're done, we can address some of the things we couldn't address, and then we will do that. All right. Let's see. So just Jocelyn, I have Jocelyn. Just I keep flipping the two names. So we have uh Deaconess Jocelyn or Bing Boafo, another very very wonderful lady. She has an online business. Also, she's another family woman, and I've patronized some of her device, her business. It's just beautiful. I folded it. It's just so beautiful. I folded it and I wear it about once a year. I don't want to mess it up. You know, I just wear it once. My anniversary, I pull it out and then we take a picture with it. So July 27th, you see me wear it again and take a picture. It's just beautiful, excellent. And I just wanted to share also her life. Oh, she's going to tell her about herself and how she also balances all of this. And the key now to understand, these are all young people. I don't think any of those speaking here are even 45 years yet, you know, and they are doing wonderful things. So think of it from that perspective to challenge all of us into that. Let me get your presentation also up and running. Showing. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let me turn this one off. Oh my goodness.
It's at the bottom. There we go.
Okay, got it.
Perfect. Awesome.
So Deaconess
Um,
Justin, over to you.
awesome. Do you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Just
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
sound check to make
yeah.
sure everybody does hear. Perfect, perfect. I know we've all sat through great conversations, great advice. I'm a visual learner, and I always like to bring ways that I learn into the space. So if you're like me and you need to visually see something versus just hear, hopefully the presentation and the slides are helpful for you as we go through this as well. So just a quick thing. So meet Joycelyn. Outside of being a wife and a mom of two tenacious and just great, amazing kids, I'm also the visionary behind Joy B Consulting LLC. I like to think of myself as a marriage revivalist for a nonprofit called Beyond the Aisle, the founder of Declarations by Beyond the Aisle, and the strategist for Joy Events. And I'll get into those in just a second. So the visionary. So with Joy B Consulting, what I do over there is my primary focus, and what I have learned for myself is that God has called me to do work with Christians, Christian believers, Christian entrepreneurs, as my way of go ye and make disciples, is equipping them to be able to be great at what they do. So with Joy B Consulting, I work primarily with women, and the focus is to ensure that they can be the visionaries and the leads with their business. You know, we focus on making sure that we have strategies for them to be able to excel and do well in whatever it is do. So with Joy B Consulting, excuse me, one of the things that I do is I design and build websites. So I always tell people that websites are a great way to market yourself. It's also a place where people get to see who you are, and also understanding that when you are designing and building a website, you're not just building something that just looks beautiful, but you want to build something that's operationally sound, meaning that it aligns with both your front end and your back end of the business. And we also then support admins, support to business CEOs, ensure that they're able to do what they love to do. And then I love to really work with one-on-one women doing coaching to support them really think about how do they move past where they are today to get to where they want to be tomorrow in regards to their business. Just because a lot of my background career-wise is in operations, and we'll talk about that as we get down the line. The marriage revivalist. So this is the term that the Lord gave me most recently. For those of you who don't know, and again, I'll expand a little bit, but I have a background in relationships. And in 2016, the Lord gave my husband and I a mandate to prepare and equip a generation for marriage beyond the aisle. So what we've been doing is that we've been working with young couples, just really empowering them and realigning their hearts back to God's original design and mandate for marriage. Since 2018, we have what we call Marriage Week. It's a week of a conference where we have different speakers coming to speak about different things that align with marriage. So last year, for example, we did a whole week on the series of The Covenant Makes the Vows Possible. And one of the topics that we discussed actually was finances, right? So because part of the vows that we exchange is for richer or for poorer, where we were having conversations around money and how money affects relationships and how you navigate the season of for better, for richer and for poorer as well. So that's how we do the revivalist part of Joycelyn. And then the founders. So we have the clothing line, which our elder talked about, which is Declarations by Beyond the Aisle. So Declarations was actually birthed out of our nonprofit, and it really comes as a way for people to declare boldly God's promises over every area of their life. So we have different t-shirts, mugs, things that have messages that are supposed to be reminders of just God's promises over your life. One of our clients bought something and they said it's such a great conversation starter because what they bought was one of the shirts that was called Godly Marriages Matter. And it actually started a conversation with somebody that they met where they were really able to discuss what marriage means and what it means as a believer in the world that we find ourselves in. So we do a lot with that with Declarations, and we encourage people to really wear what they believe and use it as a point of conversation to really get the gospel out into the world. And then the strategist. So this is a part of me that I don't really push much, but if you know me and you've got a chance to experience me, I have been the programming chair for the Church of Pentecost Youth and Conferences for a while. And what I love to do about that is really planning the event, making sure that from start to finish it goes well. And I'm taking that skill set and I do with a lot of different corporate events, weddings, and just gospel experiences that people have. I just ensure that everything runs smoothly and goes well. I'm a person of excellence and I pay attention to details. So being able to do those things and bring that into what I do has been really amazing. So that's the strategist. And then the journey. So I know that most times people have a story about how they got to where they are, who they are, who they are. So I did state earlier that I have a master's degree, and my master's degree is in marriage and family therapy. And when I first started, I was like, you know what? I want to be a therapist. I want to work with the Ghanaian community because I want marriages to really excel well. And then I'm not going to lie, my last class of grad school, I was calculating, doing the math. I was like, you know, if I get into this field, one, I'm a Black woman. Teaching, I'm rare. Two, I'm African. extra rare. And then three, I have an understanding of the faith and who people are. Like, I'm going to be making money. And I remember driving to my last class, and it was called The Business of Therapy. And I heard the Holy Spirit say to me, you will never use this degree professionally. You will use it to expand my kingdom and do my work. But in me, I was like, this is not possible. Like, this is a joke. I just spent all this money to go to school, and now you're telling me I'm not going to use this for financial gain. But what I'm saying to that is that I was able to then really change my look on beyond the aisle to still find a way to make profit out of it, right? So even though it's not for financial gain, with Beyond the Aisle being the nonprofit, I've been able to get a lot of speaking engagements. I've been able to write a lot of books and workbooks. And we talked about passive income, whereby I'm sleeping, my workbooks are making money for me, right? So I've taken the knowledge that I gained from my master's degree, even though I'm not working professionally in the field as a therapist, I've been able to do a lot of fun things. I've been able to, for example, build trainings for churches, come in and be like, okay, this is the current structure of your church's marriage ministry. How do we make it more effective? Acting more as a consultant to be able to use what I love to do and my passion, even though I'm not doing therapy, to make some income, right? And then I was the risk averse wife. I don't like risk. I don't want to try it. I need to know that if I put this here, when I come back, it's guaranteed here. And I'm married to a man who's a risk taker. You know, his background is in finance. He will take a risk. It's worth it. So imagine me coming into this and I'm just like, wait, why are we doing this business thing? Why are we going here? So that was the next part of my journey. And the really big thing was the pivot. And for me, the pivot was in 2020. As we all know, we were hit by a global pandemic, and it happened so that many of us had to make really hard choices. For me, it meant walking away from 14 years as a professional career woman, right? Where I had worked my way up to be a director. And I was really proud of what I did. But I realized that the next phase of my life, the next phase of my family, the next phase of our legacy would require that there's a pivot that would happen. So the pivot required audacious faith. It required me to be so audacious in my decision making, to really realign what I thought and what I believed, where I could no longer be a risk averse wife. And I could no longer just only concentrate on my passion as being the therapist, right? So that was that. And what I did with when I came to this part was that I began to look at what my giftings were. And I think our Deaconess Jocelyn had mentioned that earlier. And for me, I learned that I have the gift of administration and the gift of helps. So what I began to do was that I began to really compound on those skills and use that in every area of the businesses that I have. So people ask, well, Joyce, you do so much. I'm like, but they're also interconnected, because I am expounding on my gifts of administration and on my gifts of helps to be able to make money. Okay. And then the last one is, these are the things that are my foundation. I always believe that, and I think it was our brother um, James who said that you need to know your why. For me, these are my foundational verses that I stand on. Outside of this and my family, I know that this is what anchors me in making my decision, because everything else could fail, but these foundational things will not change. They will forever be what pushes me, they will forever what motivates me. And I'm going to share a really quick thing really quickly. And it's actually one of the ladies that I contract for. And I provide her with services under Joy B Consulting. And she says something. She's a pastor's wife. She has three teenagers who are in several different sports, and she's been running her business right now for 5 years and makes after profit, I believe, over a little bit over 2 million. That's profit, okay? And she was saying something to me, and she was like, "Justin, you first. We are women of faith." And a lot of people profess this thing like you need to be able to just not do too much. It's like, but the Bible tells us we can do all things through Christ that strengthens us. So Joyce, and get up and do all things. And that's something that has really stuck with me, that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, because again, my foundation is centered on that. All right. And then the last thing I want to talk about, because I know time is so far spent, is what is the blueprint? A lot of people ask, how do you do it, Joyson? How do you do it? I'm not going to lie, there are days where I am tired. There are days I'm like, oh, I'm doing too much. Let's be very honest. People want to make it seem like being an entrepreneur, you just wake up one day, you get there, and you're doing all these things. No, like I said, the pivot for me happened in 2020. Here we are, 2024. And I can say now, by the grace of God, I have gotten more of a rhythm, but you don't just wake up and make it. There's sacrifices that have to come along with it. There's time invested. There's finances that get invested. You will make a loss sometimes. Let's be very honest with the entrepreneurial journey. But one thing that I again just want to tap in was that I tapped into my existing strengths. Like I said, I have a great gift of administration and a great gift of helps. So I use that to then say, how can I use what I already have in my hands? Like, what do you have in your hands? Thinking of the story of the woman, the widow, and the prophet asks, what do you have in your house? What do you have in your hands? And using that to then expound to make financial gain. The second one is I love to debunk the ideology of balancing. We move from the art of balancing to really understanding juggling. What does that mean? When you're trying to balance everything, you want everything to be equal at the same time, happening at the same time. It is not possible. But what we begin to do is we begin to juggle. And the act of juggling requires that we are actually throwing things up and moving things away, which means that there are going to be times where right now, maybe this thing is not priority. It's not the ball in my hands, but it's one of the balls in the air. Right. So therefore, I know that the one of the balls is in the air. And at some point in time, I'm going to catch it. But when I try to balance it all, sometimes things are heavier than others. There may be a side that may lean further down because I'm trying to balance versus trying to juggle. So really learning the art of juggling versus the art of balancing. So that's the second one. And then for me, as just a person, I love to not etch things. I like to etch things on paper and not on stone. Because once it is etched on stone, it is so difficult to take out. It is so difficult to change. What does that mean? We have become so accustomed sometimes to believing that this is what is supposed to happen because this is what has happened, right? Versus when you are an entrepreneur or when you wear different hats in business, giving yourself enough grace to pivot, to change, to make adjustments. It may mean that as you expand, for example, you begin to outsource, you begin to train people. I'm a big believer in duplicating and replicating myself. That's my thing. Again, my agenda that I realize the Lord has given me is to multiply, is to connect, is to advance. So therefore, I make money, we all make money. That's my mindset. How do I bring others in so that we're all successful in making this money as well? And then for me, relationship is currency. Relationship is currency, and that's in every area of life. So for example, right now it's a holiday, right? I have two kids, like I said earlier. They're very latchy, they love to be around me, but right now my house is silent. Why? Because they're with their dad. That's a relationship, being able to nurture and have a partnership. Like, hey, I'm doing this, can you take them? When he has his business meetings, I will take them. So that partnership. In relationships, sometimes you just need somebody who's a soundboard. A piece of advice I gave to somebody one time was they wanted to know how they can learn a new skill, and I'm like, find that person who is doing what you're doing and doing it better, and reach out to them and be like, hey, I'd be interested in learning from you. Can I get 15 minutes of your time? Take them to coffee, buy them a gift card, invest in what you want. Don't just take from people without investing. So that's how I'm able to balance all these things really quickly. And then the last takeaway, because I know we're so over time and my timer went off my 15 minutes, is that one, but divide your investments among many places. For you do not know what risk may lie ahead. And that's from Ecclesiastes 11, verse 2. And I truly believe that in the end of the day, because I'm able to do a lot of different things in different areas, I'm covered. But I'm also able to do that because I have a foundation and because I have capitalized on what God has already put in my hands. So that's all I have. Thank you so much, Elder Fred. Back to you.
Awesome. That's beautiful. Amazing. I just don't even know where to start from, but God bless you so much for putting all this together. It's amazing. And this verse actually in the book, Money Skills for Teens and Young Adults, is one of the last scriptures I have in that book that divide your investments amongst many places. Yeah. So you realize that from all this that we've heard from everybody, it says we should not limit. I don't see anybody limiting themselves. Like everybody is reaching out to high potentials. If you have questions, this time let me try and bring everybody on. Thank you, Dickness Joycelyn, for this wonderful presentation, and she really stuck to her time. God bless you so much. Yeah, we have. Let's see. Let me bring Brother James on. I'll bring the whole squad, everybody on here, and then if you have any questions for them, please bring the questions in. um, Dickness Joycelyn told us 2020 is when things kicked in. right, for her. But James, I think you've been doing it for a while. Maybe I want to start from that. At what point did that idea come into to being that, being an entrepreneur, not just existing, but I want to go beyond myself. At what point did that come in? And then Dickness, Jocelyn, also the same question for you. Start thinking about. I know we're neighbors. Sometimes I take my kids to her to take care of them, and she also all of that. But now she says, "See you." She's a big woman. I don't think you can even take the kids to her again. So how did it? How did you? At what point did it happen? So, Brother James, maybe we'll take from you, and then we go
Okay,
around.
so with mine, thank you very much. With mine, I came from a family that we had a family business. Yeah, so right in high school, by the grace of God, I managed to have a government scholarship. So I could use my first fees, which I spoke to my dad about it, that although we're not paying school fees, but I want to use that fees to start my business. I did visual arts in high school. So that was where I started. So if I'm going back, I started in 2002. 2002 was when I first sold my artwork for money. So when I sold it and I got money, I was like, oh, I thought this was just a piece and he gave me this money. Okay, let me do it. I did it again, I got money. I did it again, I got money, and I started producing it in larger quantities. So at some point when I was leaving high school, I was supplying tie and dye. That was the time that tie and dye has really come to stay. The tie and dye and batik.
Yeah.
There were companies or there were stores in Edum in Kumasi that I was selling to them. So every vacation, I was making them in bulk, and I managed to have a class that I was doing. I started with the church, with the women's movement. I was organizing that free teachings for them, and they were now helping. I mean, I give them the free teaching. One thing that I want to say is that don't ever render services for free. People will never value it if you give it for free.
Mm.
If you like, price them. After they pay that money, find a way to give that money back to them for them not to, I mean, if you feel bad for charging them and you don't want to, find a way of giving that money back to them or giving it back to the society. But whichever way it is, never give it for free. Anything given for free is never worthy. Nobody respects it and they don't put in their all. But when they commit by paying money, money is blood. When it gets out of their system, I tell you, they pay attention to the details of everything. So whatever you're doing, whatever gift God has given you, that gift is to make you money. And don't give it for free. Yeah, so that was where it started, and that was where I started seeing money and
Awesome.
knowing how money operates and how money doubles itself whenever you put it to use. So I say, money love me. And money is one of the best friends. Aside my wife, money is my sidekick. I'm not saying side chick. I said sidekick. Yeah. So wherever money is, money journeys to me, and money loves me because I put it to good use and get returns on that.
Awesome. Awesome. You say money loves him. Money loves him. So
Money loves.
please don't call money. There is this elder doctor, Joseph Sian Japong, the owner of Zoom Lion, Just
Yeah.
Pong companies. He said you should say in billion. Just call it. Call money. You know, let's not be scared of it. Let's not put limit on it. But he said that very young. So as a young man as he is, he started very young, talking about high school. So beloved, it's a challenge to all of us. Do not put limit on yourself. So Digness, Jocelyn, when did that also kick in for you to get started? I know you're thinking of you're doing your nursing. That was like the main focus, but all of a sudden, at the part, all over the place. So when did you get started? So anyone sitting on the fence, thinking of when to start, that might also challenge them.
Oh, perfect. Oh, so I like what our brother shared. My mom and my dad have literally never worked for anyone. So for me, I would say by the grace of God, I've been the one that have attained the highest level of education, and if something is in your family, literally it will come back to you. So seeing my mom do trading for a while, and see my dad never work for anybody, that kind of financial freedom is something that I've always seek for. So it really hit for me during COVID,
Mm.
where we were on lockdown. I believe I was pregnant, where I kept hearing scrubs, scrubs, scrubs. I'm like, what is it about scrub? And by then, no nurse want to sell, because when you a nurse, you have a different kind of ego. Let's be honest here. You're like, why should I sell? Because I make good money, especially living in California. California pay their nurses very well. But I heard God say scrubs, scrubs. And I have always also, one of my goals that I pushed this business ahead was I wanted to support kingdom businesses, like missionaries, people who are doing very well, like kingdom wise, like they have good songs, but they don't have the resources to push them. Those are my targets. So that's one of the channels where my profit going to push those people. And by the grace of that, sometimes when we have God in mind, when we are doing something, he pushes us different.
Yes.
So during COVID, what I did was I started doing a max, right? And I distributed to almost all the Pentecost pastors, almost all of them. And what I did was I didn't do it for free. I had the church members buy it to their favorite pastor. So if you are buying it for your favorite pastor, and maybe your favorite pastor have already shipped to them, like, oh, there's this pastor who have not gotten any, is it okay to ship? And that's how I was able to reach out to all the different people in different states. So COVID, even though I was doing the scrub, it was not moving as much, because I started in Ghana. And Ghana, you tell them to sew red, they'll sew blue for you. And I was getting frustrated. So and again, after the mask, one time I was sleeping there, and God told me to go and watch one girl's story on Instagram. And I went, and she's into gym wear. And then I asked her, like, who does your stuff for you? And she connected me to somebody in China. So I have manufactured my scraps from scratch. I design them. I tell how, I ask my client, how do you want your next scrub to look like? And being able to pick those ideas and then manufacture it, bring it to manifestation for them. So that's something that I do. And when I figured that, there's so much money in China, I literally want to go live in China. There
Yeah.
is so much money. So when people say
Yeah.
that times are hard, blah, 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 I'm like, you have no idea.
You don't
I
know what.
can go to China right now and make so much money. There is so much money sitting there. So that's something now, this is a good webinar for all of us that start to think of something. And I remember, I think Deaconess Jocelyn and I had talked some time back. And then she had said, like, oh, if I know somebody who is into the, like, I have a center man who can get your business just shipped here to you without zero hassle. And that's something that I've been doing to help other women, because as women, we get tired and sometimes we still want to do much. So that's something that I'm also like empowering women to don't just be a stay home mom. Push your husband, like you rightly said. I've been in a situation where my husband was the only income. And I'm always praying, like, God, never let him lose his job. And I never want that situation again. So
Yeah.
that kind of thing put me in a different bracket to always also do something to support this man. So, God forbid if something happened, I can also step up and support him, and plus the kids. So COVID did it for me by the grace of God. And God used that mask to open that different doors for me. Through Adipa Scraps, I've met so many wonderful people. I support so many ministries. Um, I can't even think of, but God is doing his thing through that. And I enjoyed each and every one of you today.
Awesome. Awesome. Amazing. It's just been glorious hearing all these stories and what God is doing. And it's realized that even in the challenges, people are still able to make it. So we shouldn't be giving ourselves excuses, excuses, excuses. Dickness Joycelyn talked about losing. You're going to lose money. Just getting it real. I think at that point it's like the anointing had just, yeah, that you're going to lose money. Personally, in California, I tried this real estate thing. I put everything on it on the line. You know, and we lost so much money. California was competitive. You do your numbers, you would think you're going in come at 70%. California, they come at 110%. Somebody's ready to buy the house 110. So you can't compete. You know, so that was very real. That she mentioned that you're going to go through all of these difficult challenges. But you touched on juggling and balancing. I think Lydia really like that point. Let me share that. I said that's a good point. Balancing and juggling. So maybe I'll let you touch on that more. You know, because it's not just if you think of balancing. I think from what you said, I've never thought about it, but it looks like that is what I do personally because I don't know how I do it,
Yeah, you
right?
do it.
But then it gets done, and it's not a balancing act. You know, I think today you've put a word to it that is other juggling, right? Because in between times I could be doing several things, and then when it is time for it, we do it. So maybe you can touch a little bit on that and how it's worked for you, so people start thinking of that mindset. Because I've seen that most of you are all doing multiple things. You know, how is it possible? Well, that's one question that was also asked. How do you Let's see. Was it Lydia? Somebody asked that question very early.
Yeah.
Just Lydia.
Oh,
Yeah, and I
She
think
asked
I think
for
it applies to
different
all of you. So
juggling.
maybe you can
Mhm.
tackle it
Yep.
with the juggling and balancing act, and should be wrapping up after that.
Yeah, no, I think for me, the juggling and the balancing thing is something that I had to. I like to read and I like to learn definitions and how they apply to things. So that's just my thing. So the juggling thing, like I said, basically when you're juggling, when somebody juggles, they have several balls in the air, right? So think about it, how we all have. I love to teach by practical, and I don't have balls. I wish I have balls in my hands, but like literally, you throw it, and it's like each ball signifies something that you're responsible for, right? And at some point in time, there's going to be one ball that's going to be higher. So, I guess let me use example of what I have going on right now. So, for those of you who don't know, we have the Youth of Pencil Conference coming up in July. So I'm programming chair for that. So I have that. Then I have Joy B Consulting, where I try to take at least two or three, at max, honestly, two websites a month. So I have that. Then I have the kids are about to get out of school because it's summertime, right? So I need to find a plan. So I have mommy duties. And then I have also wife duties. And then I also have church duties. So I have all these duties in a day. I am also part of my juggling is I'm a list maker. I write everything down. Like I literally write everything. I have a stack of notebooks. It's a bit of an addiction, kaka, in yet. Because I like old school. Some people like pens, some people like things. So there is what I write that down. And then I make sure that I also do things in blocks. So I know, for example, my kids leave home by 8:30 they're on the bus, right? So from 8:30 to time 3:30, because they come home at 4, that's the time that I utilize to do what I call block work. So this block is specifically on the specific day. Maybe it's for this thing, on another day is for this thing. And then making sure that I'm also very diligent in keeping those rhythms. I'm not going to keep them all the time, but the juggling is throwing the different balls for me either on specific days or specific time sets, right? So let's think about being a wife, being a mom,
Which
being
one is
a
it?
homemaker, right? I know, for example, I'm going to do laundry on Tuesday. Doesn't mean laundry's going to get folded on Tuesday. Probably not. But laundry is done on Tuesday so that I have a plan. The kids, I put my kids into shower time by 7. My kids know 7 o'clock shower time. 7:30, 7:45, you're reading your Bible or you're doing something. 8 o'clock, we're in bed sleeping. So that when I decide that, for example, on Monday nights or on Wednesday nights, I'm going to meet with clients after hours, I have that time to do it. So again, juggling different things based on whether you're juggling by the hour blocks in the day or you're juggling by the day of the week. So those are some of the different things that I do in terms of trying to juggle and do it all. And like it's for me, because I'm a list maker and I write down things, I'm able to cancel as I go. So that's how what has helped me.
Beautiful, awesome, awesome, awesome. I mean, this conversation I know can go on till daybreak. You know, we've learned a lot. I hope we've all learned something. I've learned so much even listening to you guys, and it's been amazing. I feel challenged to even move further and to do more. Um, like I said, in our next episodes that we'll be doing, we'll go into details specifically. Now, I know we've talked about so many things in general, but we'll start digging into specific things like if it's saving, investing, all of these things that people are doing for us to go deeper into it and know. Like talk about business. They've all talked about business they've started, but how do I get it started? Right? like the joy consulting. How do I ever want to do a website? How do I get it started? Okay, I have an idea. How do I get my business started? All of these things that we all might be having, we'll bring them back on maybe individually or even as a panel again, but that time to be specific to that. But I just wanted to show us today that people are making it. We give excuses. I don't have time. I don't know how you can fit all the things they do in the time. 24 hours. I tell the kids all the time.
24 hours.
Yeah, when they are doing everything, I said, Elon Musk, you think Elon Musk is sleeping at this time? They go like, oh,
Uh-huh.
daddy, like Elon Musk woke up from bed with 24 hours. I also have 24 hours. What am I doing with
That's
it?
it. That's
Even
it.
here, let's bring it here to James, Jocelyn, and Joycelyn. We all have 24 hours, and look at what they've done with it. COVID is like one of the biggest excuses for churches and everybody. But look at what they've done with it. In COVID, things turn around for them. So I want to encourage all of us that money skills is important. Love it and work towards it. Money is like that wild horse, and I believe that if you tame it, you will enjoy it. You
That's
know,
it.
how nice will it be, like Pensa conference, for instance, and then you ask for, oh, I'm willing to give 10,000
And I said,
support, yeah, to support those coming from Virginia. I'm paying for your ticket. It's a simple thing that can come out from a pocket easily.
Elder Freddie, by faith, we accept it.
Amen. Amen.
By faith, I was saying, Elder Freddie said, he said,
So that is the level. Personally, I wrote back in San Diego, I wrote a check of $1 million in my account. One day I want to be able to give the Church of Pentecost $1 million in my name.
amen.
I have a check like that. It's
You
actually
see,
posted up.
exactly.
It's my
So
most
that and
list.
it keeps turning your mind. So when you're sleeping, it's like, no, I have to do something. I have to. So
Yeah.
to push yourself, else we will never do anything. The body likes to rest. I tell my family all the time.
Yeah.
The body loves to rest. Doing my PhD, I'll share this with you. Supervisor was asking everybody, he wants people to graduate, and he's saying that people are having one jobs and they're complaining. I'm working full time. I'm doing church stuff. I'm doing research with them, and then and the supervisor was checking. I have something done. I actually had results. So they are going to meet next week Friday to think of how can they, become fruitful. All they don't have kids. So these are just young adults. And I said, oh, yeah, I'll try and join. And then one lady just was honest and said, I don't know how you are able to do it because you also had 2 classes last semester. So how is it that you still have results to show? And it's all about what we've shared today. You should know, you should have those blocks in mind. Don't beat yourself if you cannot get it done.
Mhm.
For
Mhm.
every day, have something. I want to achieve this. You know, like just was saying that the time for the kids to go to bed, time to go to school. Those things you need to set it up. It doesn't just happen. Sometimes it goes off. They will not go. You'll go to bed and they're not even asleep. You have to show up with them. Oh, you haven't given me a case yet. You haven't. You just show up with them, chat with them, put them to bed, and free time. All you and I have is 24 hours. There's no extra.
Yes, good use of it.
There is no extra coming anywhere. So this resource, let's use it well. I really want to appreciate all of you for coming on the line. We could chat all day. I know I've taken your Memorial Day break, but I know it's worth it. We'll have this uploaded app, so if you have time, you go back and watch them. We'll try and create a group, Savvy Money Masters group, where we can go into detail. If you have any help, you have any issues you want us to discuss, resources, we'll try and pull all of these resources up. I got all these people because, like, again, we've said, um, our relationship is currency, as Dickness Joycelyn said. So let me try and pull this slide up, and as we wrap up, let's see if I can. So, Dickness Jocelyn, you have the last words for us. Any last words from Dickness Jocelyn? Oh, I think my message. Any last words? Yes, I do. Mhm. Awesome. Yes, yes, yes. That's so great. Thank you so much. All right. Do we still have Jocelyn on the line? I will take Brother James then.
How you will see it. Sometimes money is seen in the dirt. You have to dig it. It's just like going for gold. So some of the things that you might be thinking does not make any money, I tell you, is making a ton of money. I'm saying this that I never thought the market women had a lot of money till I started doing business with them. So some of the things, selling charcoal, you might think me, graduate selling charcoal. Yeah, you can be filthy rich in selling charcoal. And now the easiest even way, let me just say it, the easiest way to do it is that you are not the one preparing the charcoal. Get a supplier in Ghana, put it on Alibaba, and suppliers will reach out for you. The market will reach out for you, and that's it. Because they use charcoal for activated charcoal, and now we are using it for even toothbrush, and we are using it for paste. So the demand for it is higher. Never think that no work is below you. Yeah, no work. Technically, you are below every work. You can do any work whatsoever. So the certificates that we are holding, let's hold it. But when it's time for us to go into the debt to make the money, go there and make the money. Because somebody's life is tied to the greatness that God is calling you onto. And the painful thing is when we are praying for somebody, meanwhile, the person needs money. So sometimes we give people help when they need finances, and sometimes we give them finances when they need help. Let's try to balance those two and make it. Again, I say, if a young man like me at that age coming over to the United States of America was not sponsored by any of my relatives, by my own bank account could bring me here, it means that when you start to learn the habit of saving, you learn the habit of investing, learn the habit of digging the gold in every little resource that you have, I believe you're going to be financially strong. And your mental game is also going to be trained. Remember, you can lose, you can miss it all, but that should not break you. As an entrepreneur, those things are bound to happen. I know of days that I lost everything, that I didn't even have a penny. The only thing I had was probably the next paycheck to survive. So you can lose. But when you lose, pick yourself back up because you have the opportunity. You are a child of God, and everything that is handed to you, when you commit it into the hands of God, it works. The last thing is never forget your confessions. Keep saying, you will never be poor a day in your life. I used to say that thing when I had no penny in my account, that I can never be poor. I can never be poor. Even when I want to be poor, I can't. Because on the term that I had with God, I had a covenant with Him one time, and it was through a Dacian. We were having an offering in college, and he was the one that led it. And the statement that I remember he made was that he called certain amount. I was living in Ghana, and the Holy Spirit told me that I should give the offering in two currencies, in pound sterling and in dollars. I didn't have the money in dollars, but I went to change the money into dollars, and I went to change some into pound sterling, and I gave it in college. I remember 2008 when I gave that money till today. The statement that never left my mouth, I can never be poor a day in my life. So your confessions too are very important.
Mm. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. So stay motivated, as Deaconess Jocelyn said. And then also our confessions are important. Nothing is beyond us. Do not categorize some things as unreachable or too far for you to do. So this has been Savvy Money Masters. We say financial education now for the Savvy Money Masters, and we are trying to encourage this generation, Savvy Money Masters, financial education now for this generation and the next generation. We want to have a different mindset about money. In this generation, we don't want to be poor. We don't want to be behind. You want to stay in the game and have this knowledge. So until next time, it's been great having all of you. God bless you and have a wonderful time. Until then, please stay motivated. Use this information. Do not let's just say, oh, this is a really great presentation. A year from now, let's have something to show for it. All right, let's have something to show for it. Don't say it was good, it was wonderful, you should have attended. It is meant for you. That's why you came. So make sure you make good use of every information you had, rewatch it, and use it. So next time you can also be invited to share your testimony or your stories. God bless you all. Have a good time. Bye.